Today, we're going to talk about the steps to living a happier life. And one of the very first steps is being aware and just living life in awareness, period. Awareness of everything, life, everything around you, your feelings, your thoughts, just everything in general, just living in awareness instead of being victim of what the body and the mind creates. Being a conscious awareness, observing what the body and the mind does. You're a spirit. You are a conscious being living in your body. You are not the body. You are not the mind. And when you can separate yourself from those two, you become somebody who sets his own path, fills up his own cup. You are someone who is much stronger spiritually. You are someone who is much stronger emotionally. You will build better friendships. You will be kinder to those, even the ones that don't like you and the ones that do like you. You will be kind to all because there's no longer an attachment to the past. There's no longer an attachment to how people view you. One of the biggest steps is being aware. When you are living in this state of awareness, you are aware of your programming. Where this programming came from is the life moments in our younger age, being brought up by our parents. The programming came from at a younger age, and the life moments that happened in our first 7 years of our lives. The bad moments, or just the reactions, living, being in survival, but living life, but when things happen, you need to do something to react to it to survive. Stubbing your toe, or when it gets cold outside, you need to put a sweater on or a jacket. Or if somebody's treating you poorly, you have to defend yourself. Those are just basic things that we learn at a young age, living with our parents, the way we were brought up, and our life experiences, and they create the programming. When we get treated certain ways, or we build relationship in other ways, and they weren't just accepted and left there in that moment, that those become blockages. They're carried into adulthood, and they become your autopilot programming. Road rage, driving behind people that aren't going fast enough, or being caught up by someone who wants to go faster than you, triggers a reaction. There may have been something in the past where you were racing with somebody, or somebody made you feel terrible by passing you or tailgating you. So you suppress that, and every time it happens, today or tomorrow, let me know in the comments, how does it make you feel when someone tailgates you? Do you just keep going the same speed? Or do you feel like you have to increase your speed to help that person behind you get to where they got to go faster? That's living in neediness. That's living in, you can feel what other people feel. So that's an empathic quality, like I speak of in another video. I'll link it in the top corner here. I have a good video on empaths have superpowers. But when you can learn that programming, I don't need to go any faster than this. I don't need to go up to that person who's not agreeing with my views, who's not agreeing with my vibration, and fix the way they feel so I can then feel safe. You learn to be safe in this moment and embody the present. And who you are is a conscious being living in an elevated state that can observe that programming. When you learn to do the work with it and heal the past self, heal the inner child that may have gone through some traumatic events, heal the past relationships and work with those feelings in meditation, you allow all of the negative to come up, and you are willing to do the work with it to let go permanently. And when they do come back, you keep doing the work in small increments. Small increments, every time you let go, it gets easier every time it comes back. You say, I'm willing to let that thought be there. I'm willing to let that feeling be there. And then eventually you can disconnect the thought from the feeling, and then the feeling will then dissipate from the body for good. The second part is to let go of the attachment. Like I said in a past video, attachment is the root of all sorrow, said by the great Buddha, said by Anthony DeMello in one of his top speeches I've listened to. When you can learn that most of our dependencies, most of the way we live our lives are dependent on the attachments of the outcome in any relationship, in anything that we are trying to build when it comes to building new characters, building a new self. You are attached to what that thing is going to bring to you instead of just being that ahead of time. And how you can train the neurological pathways to be that ahead of time is to live in those elevated states from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to bed, and not needing the result to change the way you feel. You are it already. And when you start to train yourself to live like that every day, you are sending the quantum field a signal. Your field, your energetic field around your body, is then more magnetic to everything you want to bring in. Because if you're living in an energetic field that is consumed by the past, consumed by living in survival, you're not able to create and connect to a new version. You're not able to connect and tune into that correct frequency. And that comes by letting go of the attachment. And one of the biggest sentences that will lead you to freedom from attachment is, I'm good either way. Living in neutrality. Who would have thought something so simple, living in neutrality? You're messaging a new person about possibly going on a date. They don't reply. You're good either way. Let me know in the comments below if recently you've been trying to get a new partner or somebody in your life. You've messaged them and they didn't message you back. And how did that make you feel? Give me a comment below. Let's work with that. Because I've been you. I've been you, and I would identify with that moment. I would let that get suppressed because it wasn't something minor that I could just let happen, flow through the body, and leave it where it's at. I didn't know about spirituality back then. I didn't know about living in elevated states. That's why you're here on the channel. You're going to be able to use these tools and apply them to your own life to find true happiness. And happiness is not thinking better thoughts. I'm going to be someone who thinks good thoughts, and I'm not going to live in the negative anymore. I'm going to be a happy person. I'm a happy person. Do you see me on this video? I'm so happy right now. That's you telling yourself you're happy without doing the work, without living in elevated states and being it. That's me thinking it and reciting it. But being it is being happy regardless of the results. I will be happy regardless of what happens, regardless of the outcome. And when something happens that didn't resonate with you, or you didn't get the message back from that person, or you didn't get the call back from that job opportunity, what's the sentence we use when that doesn't work out? I'm good either way. You are good either way. You're good for being you. You're on this channel. You're starting to do the inner work. You're learning more about spirituality and personal development. I'm here to help you on that journey. I'm growing as an individual to help you on your journey to greatness. We are going to achieve greatness. That's what this channel is about. There are so many things that manifested into my life by changing my energy. I changed my energy to becoming it instead of thinking in thinking in scarcity in lower energetic frequencies. I was able to let go of all of those failed relationships that cause triggers in the current day. And even if you are somebody that has your life partner or a girlfriend that you're really into. You still got all those triggers from the past relationships. You still got those triggers from when somebody, a man or a guy that doesn't like you, and you wonder what it is that you did wrong, especially if you're an empath. Narcissists, we attract them to us until we can fix this energy. And when you fix your energy to you are confident, and you now, what do you tell yourself when something happens that would trigger the old emotion? I have the tools to deal with it. Something happens by somebody giving you a bad look at a bar or at a grocery store, and you got a bad vibe from it. I have the tools to deal with it. You applied for a job, but you didn't get a call back. I have the tools to deal with it. You are starting to speak on video to make reels or YouTube videos, and your viewership numbers are not high as you expected. I have the tools to deal with it. You have the tools to become the best you and live a happier life. That's what the channel is about, elevating your inner vibrational frequency to that of above pride and courage is living happier. I wake up every day, I do something I love. I'm not focused on the outer. And there's the third step. Stop being focused on the outer and start being focused on the inner. Because you cannot control the outer world. What we can do work on to change is the inner world and how we view ourselves. When you change the story of how you view yourself, the way people are going to treat you and view you is going to change, because there's no longer space in your life for the negative, for the judgment. And when people want to look at you and treat you like that, you no longer take on their energy, you learn to individuate. Like I taught you by learning the inner frame technique, which was created by Aaron Doughty. He has a great channel. You learn that inner frame technique, you learn to be your own individual, and you take on your own energy. You fill up your own cup. You're no longer needing to take on someone else's energy that doesn't see what you're doing as good or see what you're doing as fit. They just don't agree with you or don't resonate with your energy. And that's okay. Things are okay. That person doesn't want to be part of your life. You know, the less people that are in your life, the better. But embody and treasure the great relationships, because the more you live with gratitude, that's where that happiness is going to come. It's inner peace. And when you let go of the blockages to love, all of those life moments, all of those blockages that are suppressed, when you learn to deal with them, and there's probably one emotion that's trapped in you from your past. You know, a very common one is feeling unworthiness because of the attachments to results and those results not coming, or feeling unattractive, or feeling a lot of guilt or shame. If you have an emotion that you're trying to let go of, let me know down below and let's work with it. I'll make a video for you on that emotion and how to let it go. And the more that I make meditations for you guys, like my most current one, I will link in the top corner here, which is elevating your inner vibration permanently. And you're going to be living in an elevated state after you practice this meditation for 21 days. I will link it in the top corner and at the end of the video. But living a happier life is being good with the now. And nothing needs to be any different. Nothing needs to be any different other than you, other than your mindset and your energy. But you may be somebody who's already started to do some of that work, and you may be feeling good about your life, but there's still certain things that trigger it. And we're going to discover what those blockages are from you watching the channel here. We're going to make some videos to get you on that level. So I thank you for watching this one. I'm going to link at the end of this one a video about stop being dependent on somebody that may be enabling you, like your parents, and moving out and taking a chance on yourself is going to manifest the greatest life for you. So see you on the next one.